Instagram in a short while. Thank you very much. See you all later. We believe that art is too important not to share. And that's the reason why this Arts Congress is launched. Art's about inner exploration, creative expression, economic capital, social harmony, global connections, and respect for nature. Though this COVID-19 pandemic has had a severe emotional and economic impact in the country, particularly the artistic community, artists are grouping and reinventing themselves for this new normal. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 14th Arts Congress of the De La Salle University Manila with the theme Pandemic, Resilience in the Arts. This is the virtual art exhibit with our featured artists event. My name is FJ Lacson, visual arts faculty member from the Arts and Design track unit of De La Salle University Senior High School, and I will be your moderator for this event. This year's DLSU Arts Congress is brought to you by the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation, the Office of the Assistant Dean for Research and Advanced Studies of the College of Liberal Arts, De La Salle University's The Museum, and the Culture and Arts Office in cooperation with the CLA Graduate Student Council. For some reminders, for all our Zoom participants, kindly put on your headset or earphones and turn your cameras and microphones off. Please keep our chat box strictly for webinar-related concerns. For your questions, kindly use our Slido link, which you can access by scanning the QR code or entering the pin you are seeing on your screens. Participants watching us on Facebook may also participate in our Q&A through Slido or the comment section of our live stream on the DLSU Arts Congress Facebook page. Before we finally or totally begin the program, let's all remember that God is alive in us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty God, you are the divine artist. We come to you with complete humility. We ask for your forgiveness for the things that we have done that make us unworthy of your love. Forgive us and cleanse us deep within if ever you can see anything that can hinder us in giving you all the glory that you deserve. Lord, we thank you for giving us this day, for the talent that you lent us, and for the skills that you made us learn. Thank you for the vision of art that you made us see, and for this opportunity to magnify you and your greatness in our lives through the arts. Lord, as we gather for this Arts Congress, we pray for you to bless each and every one of us. Bless us with stable internet connectivity. Bless us with pure and listening heart. Bless these artists and speakers and use them to enlighten us with pure and modest ideas in their lives for us to feel your goodness and mercy. Lord, be with us as we acknowledge our nothingness, that apart from you, we are nothing and we can do nothing. We entrust this academic and artistic endeavor. As we also pray our Lasallian prayer, I will continue, O my God, to do all my actions for the love of you. Saint John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us and leave Jesus in our hearts forever. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Arts, in its purest sense, can also be a form of healing and recovery. It provides solace and therapy during the time of stress. It helps safeguard mental and spiritual health and reduces barriers between people, culture, and languages. Art has also been used to spark social change and increase awareness about destructive facets of economic development. To give us the opening remarks, here is Ms. Lalin Boncab, the curator of the De La Salle University's The Museum.
Pandemic, Resilience, and the Arts, a virtual exhibition. In response to the present situation, the 14th De La Salle University Arts Congress, with the theme Pandemic, Resilience, and the Arts, will showcase Lasallian creative works through an online art exhibit. With this virtual exhibition, museum visitors can still explore and learn as they engage with varied visual interpretations of Lasallian artists despite confinement due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. By looking at the current issue, the artists express in depth how they analyzed, reflected, observed, and interpreted the situation using creative expressions such as drawings, illustrations, paintings, photographs, and mixed media. The design and layout of the exhibition demonstrate various aspects of COVID-19 reality, the danger it gives, and as a test of resilience. The works reflect anxiety and fear and document the new normal situations. The entire collection in the exhibition will convey a message to future generations about life experiences and learnings in challenging times. The intention of this exhibition is for the online viewers to see the works of art that show landscapes and images of healing, hope, and faith. The exhibition also aims to present helpful information by showcasing artworks with different approaches to health and wellness, as well as personal responses to the illness affecting the general society, economy, ecology, politics, arts, or the creative industry in general, and other areas of life.
Thank you very much, Miss Lalin, for that opening remarks. Let me just remind everyone, no participants will be allowed to use the chat box and they cannot unmute their microphones. All questions should be coursed through Slido. Thank you. This Arts Congress also aims to awaken the artistic and humanistic spirit in each of us and reinforce the importance of creativity, hope, and compassion in these dark hours. And now, we introduce to you our featured artists, beginning with Mariel Elise Ang from De La Salle University Senior High School Arts and Design track. We also have Jeremy Molino from St. Louis University, Baguio. Mr. Ronwell Del Rosario from De La Salle University Integrated School. Heidi Judith Carnica Portillo from Universidad La Salle Noroeste in Mexico. Ismael Eduardo Ruiz Sanchez from Universidad La Salle Noroeste, Mexico. And Elenita Garcia from De La Salle University. These artists will be asked questions about the works that they did and what inspired them in coming up with these masterpieces. Let's, aside from the questions that we are going to pose, expect that we are going to have some sort of activity to know you more as a person and as an artist. Let's begin with Miss Mariel Ang. Hello, Mariel, are you there?
I'm here.
And good morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing great.
It's nice to know. Let me just ask you some sort of things about what you did. Tell us more about your art.
So initially, when I was brainstorming for this piece alongside the theme of the Arts Congress for this year, the pandemic, resilience, and the arts, I kept trying to think of something motivating, something uplifting, and something to tell the audience to keep going and it'll be all right. But everything I tried to conceptualize felt so off-putting and fake. I didn't know why at first, but I realized it because they really weren't reflective of my true feelings. I can't tell you that everything is good because I know that this pandemic really hit us all hard. Some of us have lost loved ones, jobs, and fought with inner demons that brought upon us by this pandemic. Every day we're dealt with uncertainty and fear, our lives completely flipped upside down. And yet there is this feeling of obligation with many of us that we have to go on like everything is okay and fine. We try too hard to look for that feeling of normalcy that has been long gone. In the chase for resiliency, a lot of us has gotten numb, with our feelings covered up, much like the heavy clothing and masks we wear to protect ourselves from COVID-19. But amidst the strange and changing world, art more than ever serves as a medium for communication, empathy, and comfort for many. So with that being said, this painting hopes to remind the viewers that it's okay to feel all the emotions, and it's okay not to feel all right. That even though they may feel alone amidst their struggles, they are not alone in this pain and in this fight. Thank you. That's my answer.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing. Now let me just have a follow-up question. Aside from what you have experienced during this pandemic and enhanced community quarantine, which actually inspired you to accomplish that masterpiece, what else compels you to create art?
Okay. So I had written something quite recently, like a result of an epiphany of some sort about why I create art. Back then, my primary motivation, I think to myself, is to express the beauty in life. For me, when I first started drawing, I realized that it really lets you appreciate and see the beauty in everything. You notice the beauty of the colors of the flower of your painting or the laugh lines of the model you're drawing. This was a nice motivation, but I felt like there was also something more that I was missing. So now I've actually settled with the cliche saying of, I express myself through art, and but I'll read an excerpt of the ramblings I wrote down after I had that epiphany. I had always thought that the line was cheesy, cliche, and completely bogus. But what of those works that captures my soul? I had always thought that it was the technical skill of allowing the painting to immerse the viewers into its world. But I missed it. It's the message, the sincerity of the artist brought out and fleshed out through technical skill. That's their expression. In the end, expression in itself isn't all about making the viewers understand, watering down the message for the layman to digest. It's about representing one's feelings in an accurate manner to the artist. People will or will not understand, that is something up to them, and beyond the artist's capabilities. In the end, the only thing they can do is portray the message as truthfully as they can to themselves in hopes that the viewer may somehow see it. Like all those emotions and feelings you could never express and never will, the human curse of never truly being fully understood. They overflow and consume you all alone. But if you could take that and somehow try to make it tangible, whether it be through drawings, music, or poetry, you gain hope, gain comfort that perhaps maybe somewhere someone will defy all the odds and understand. Maybe several many could vaguely grasp the message, which could be more than anything ever expected of. Or maybe it'll comfort someone of a message of their own, completely deviant from yours, but they will be in solace. Even if it feels cliche today, years into the future where the world has completely changed, people will look back and see this was how life was. This was a problem back then. This was what the artist loved. All of this will be remembered through your work. And that's my motivation for drawing.
Thank you, Mariel, for sharing that. I'm actually really proud to see you here, and seeing your work inspired me as well, being one of our best students in the arts and design track. Let me just ask you one another question, which is probably out of the context that we are talking about. It's just about it's a personal question, no? So let me just ask you, what's the most unforgettable story or experience that you had in the course of the quarantine? And then can kindly share us what you have learned and what you have reflected upon with that incident that happened to yours.
Hmm. Well, there was something I did that was like super random. So I grew a watermelon plant in this small pot, and then I put it in our balcony, and then it grew, and its trellis just grew from with the window, and it like grew really big. And it took a while, and but it also made me realize like the passing of time and how things will go on, things will keep going, but somehow we will grow, we will keep going, and we've made it this far, and we will keep on going. That's all.
That's nice, no? Relating it to a life cycle of a plant and relating it to growing as a human being. Thank you very much, and I'm really happy to see you here. Your work is really nice, and I believe that you will continue doing some sort of artworks as this, be it in and out of season. So once again, congratulations, Mariel. And uh, before we end this session or this sharing, I have prepared questions for every one of the um, panel members or the featured artists. So are you familiar with Fast Talk?
Yeah, a
I
bit.
just prepared I just prepared a pair of questions or choices, and then you will be asked to answer it quickly. Okay, so I based these questions from the artwork that you did, and knowing you, knowing your principles of art as well. So let's begin. Are you ready?
I hope. Yes.
Okay, it goes like this. Okay, ready? New normal, old normal.
Old normal,
Digital, traditional.
digital,
Coffee or tea.
tea,
Working with music or working without music.
working with music,
Facebook, Instagram.
Instagram,
Headset, loudspeaker.
headset,
Mona Lisa, Starry Night.
Mona Lisa,
Landscape or portrait.
portrait,
Dog or cat.
cats,
Art, doing art or sleeping.
doing art,
Jollibee or McDonald's.
Jollibee.
That's the final pair. Thank you very much for sharing. I hope this fast talk also let us learn more about the artist and to know them more as a person, as an artist. Okay, thank you very much, Mariel. And let's now proceed to the next artist. We have Ms. Jeremy Molino. Hello po.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Ms.
Hello,
Jeremy.
everyone. Yes,
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Nervous.
It's nice to know. Um, um, Seeing your works, actually, these are all inspiring. And for the audience, we will see more of their works in our online public exhibition later on. So for the meantime, we are going to highlight one particular work, and we are going to ask Miss Jeremy to tell us something about this work of art. Miss, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning to everyone. I am humbled, and let me just share to you this artwork. Well, a lot of stories now behind this artwork, but let me just give you a glimpse of that story. I really love to see sun every day. So the sun is not only a symbol of life, no, for me. It is everything. So there is the element of the sun in everything, right? So keep in mind, or let us keep in mind that the sun must arise and that we are going to follow it wherever we go, or whatever what happens. No? So we have to be aware of every little flicker from the sun, and it's very essential for recognizing how intense the sun is. If only humanity in all of his thoughts, feelings, and sensation has conscious awareness that the sun rises even in pandemic time, despair will begin to disappear. So every sunrise in this unprecedented time is offering us beauty and a seedbed of hope. The rising sun promises that tomorrow is another day, a morning, a new day, and a new blessing. It is a fact that the sun will rise despite fear and feeling indifferent to these trying times. Let us all be free like birds, and let us celebrate every breath in a meaningful way. That's the meaning, the description of this painting.
Thank you, Miss Jeremy. That indeed is a wonderful artist statement. And knowing that you are from St. Louis University in Baguio,
Yes.
I feel a bit envy because you are there in Baguio.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
how's the weather there? How's the temperature?
Um, Quite normal actually. Compare in the past few weeks. It's really cold during the past few weeks. Uh, we reached 8 degrees below,
Wow.
and now I think it's normal already. But I'm quite freezing now because of nervousness, maybe. Okay.
It's normal, and please don't be.
Yeah.
As an artist, sunsets or sun is also one of my usual subjects. And
Yeah.
as my next question, can you tell us more about your artistic philosophy, or what compels you aside from such things as that? What inspires you to create wonderful works?
Sir, I don't call myself, or I don't consider myself as an artist. When I did this, I think I'm on my um uh on the period of depressing, na depressed, no? There are times na I do not know how to work continuously in my teaching career, both in teaching and graduate studies. So all I know is that I only want to see light during those days. And I just want to express my thoughts and feelings, with this simple painting, and with the other paintings that I did. Really, no, this pandemic is a depressing situation, not just for me and maybe for everyone. However, there are several ways to liberate myself, no, from that slavery of depression, and that is through painting. And I think one way for me is to express it through colors. And I learned that expressing my inner thoughts and feelings with the help of these colors, 'di ba, ang ganda, no? Ang beautiful, no, ng kulay nila. And I was also amazed, no, when I finished this work. And this for me is a psychologically liberating. So I think that's how I see it, sir.
Miss. Um, yeah, exactly. We have the same ideology as well. I also believe that art is another way of keeping a diary. That's according to Pablo Picasso. And I also agree with you when you say color. No, so color is one of the best elements of art, and we can also use that to make our artworks more meaningful. And uh, just like the question that I have raised from Mariel a while ago, can you tell us also an anecdote or something that happened to you this pandemic that caused you to reflect and ponder also about the meaning of life that you can also relate it to art?
Um, in my paintings, I found a moment of relief, because I don't want to see myself struggling much. There are times I cried for the difficulty of time, the difficulty of the different tasks, because especially very limited, no, yung ating movement in and outside of the home. So I discovered a lot about myself, and also I discovered a lot about many things, no, in this situation. So in this doing this, I found a moment of relief from those numerous activities of the mind. Sometimes I just want to rest my eyes, no, from the volume of readings in front of the laptop. And I will just grab, no, the materials, the art materials. And every time I paint, I get a fresh perspective on my other important duties and roles. And the real beauty of my painting is not seen in its coordinated illustrations. There are no measurement on that. It's about the deep emotions and liberating effect on me, that its beauty truly materialized. It does not matter, neither my paintings are technically coordinated, nor it is a rule compliant. I only want to capture, my deep emotion, and find a way for it be truly liberated. Can you imagine? For the past 20 years, I did not drew. I did not paint. I only did this in this time of pandemic. And this is, I think, my another space. I found myself, no, in this kind of space. So I think the very motivation, my inspiration is the environment itself. So my paintings are the results of images generated from my readings, from my queries concerning questions pertaining to the beauty of the earth, pertaining to the issues in the environment. So the mystical appearance of the earth's beauty captures my imagination to sketch its multifaceted appearances. So my eyes also want to see how colors blend into each other. I really want to see, even in the future, I really want to see the world uh, in its finest beauty, just the way I see it simula nung pinanganak ako. So, yun lang naman.
Thank you, Miss, for that. It's what you have said is very meaningful and so reflective. And um, later on, I'm still going to ask all of you a question to be answered for our audience as well. But before that, let me just do the same thing that I did with the first featured artist, Marielle. Are you ready for this fast talk?
This is the first time I will do this, ha? Sige po.
Thank you, Miss. Now, let's begin. Paintbrush, palette knife,
Oh, paintbrush.
art gallery, heritage sites,
Heritage sites.
coffee or tea.
Pwedeng both.
Okay, realism or abstract,
Realism.
Christmas or Valentine's,
Christmas.
Picasso or Van Gogh,
Picasso.
working with music or working without music,
Working without music.
inside your room or outside world,
Outside world.
color or texture,
Color.
old normal, new normal,
New normal.
Da Vinci or Michelangelo,
Mm. Da Vinci.
gardening or painting.
Pwede ding both.
Ayan. Thank you very much, Miss, for sharing these
Yeah, thank
wonderful
you
things to
also.
us. And for our audience, you can see more of her works in our public exhibition, and that's what we are going to highlight later on. For the details, we are going to discuss it later. Thank you, Miss Jeremy.
Thank you so
And
much.
now let's proceed to the next artist. You know what? As a personal reflection, I also believe that this pandemic also caused us um, to become more reflective and for us to become more though we are separated physically, it's also a way for us to be connected to some friends or family members in some parts of the globe, and um, that this pandemic also brought us to become more sensitive, and it brings back to our senses. To know more about the next featured artist, let's have Mr. Ronwell Del Rosario. Good morning, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Hi,
very clear and audible. How are you? Kumusta po kayo?
I'm okay. I just excited for this and preparing for some classes later also because I
Uh,
yeah.
Thank you, sir, for your time, and we believe that your students are learning a lot from you when it comes to this particular field of endeavor. So,
I try.
um, we have seen some of your works, no, and for this particular one, can you share us, or can you share something about this work of art?
I oh well I always make comics and comic strips about like how I feel and what I see around me, and the news and just what I'm experiencing personally. And during the beginning of pandemic, I feel like I had a lot of pent up emotions about things, and it's very frustrating to just be at home. So I did a lot more than usual and posted them online. And for this one, I think the idea that it's about the new normal. Obviously, it's my comments and thoughts on particularly the term itself. I feel like it's terrifying to be desensitized about a lot of these things, that I think there's some things we shouldn't accept as normal. For example, like receiving low key vaccine should not be accepted as normal by tax paying people, and inexplicable government funds should not be seen as normal. I think there's a lot of danger in that, and we should be wary, and we should be always, like, I want to ask as many people as possible to be we have to be wary of what we consider to be normal and common. Like, sometimes we have to really realize that things aren't right in order for them to get better. Just, I think that's the general gist.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing that. And my next question, aside from I'm actually interested about the things that you have mentioned earlier. So as Filipinos, and yeah, we should be actually worried about what is happening to us, and relating it to your art. Um, why did you choose this kind of art form in representing your inmost thoughts and feelings?
Yeah, well, comics is very convenient for kind of, because basically these are just thoughts that could be status updates, but they have a stronger impact when you pair them with an image. And it's, you know, anyone could say this, like these thoughts, but if you kind of draw them and present them in such a sequential manner, it kind of, you know, both parts, the image and the text, they kind of strengthen and play off each other. And I think it's always, it's just more interesting, and I feel like it gets the message across a lot stronger. Thank you.
Ayan, it's wonderful to know. I'm also a fan of, comics.
Yeah.
It makes me so, aside from inspiring me, it's also a way for me to go back to my childhood days. And from, aside from, for sure, your students, can see your works. Aside from that,
Actually,
um,
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
uh, are you posting these works as well in your social media
Yeah,
accounts?
like Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
Ayan. And actually, it's not just the art form. It's also the idea that you are sending, and it really matters right this point in time. So
Mhm.
for my probably my last question for this part, um, can you share some experiences that you had during the course of this pandemic, aside from the one that caused you to come up with these works, wherein you have really learned something and a message that you can tell to everyone, for them not to lose hope or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, for my experience, because I teach also, it's you get to really like realize what do we mean by education, what do we mean by like life in general, because usually we define how successful or satisfactory our lives are by where we get to travel, the things we get to buy, like the people we meet. So it's like even if you don't want to, you're gonna end up being really meditative about things, and like there's really a shift in how we define most things, that like we get to realize how fragile our idea of living is, and even learning, like how do we quantify knowledge and even success and things like that if we're all just at home. So it's a lot of questioning, and I guess that's actually what makes me ask, wonder as well. So for message of hope, I think we should not just wish for things to return back to how it used to be. Instead, we have to combine both. Like, what do we realize are important now? And what do we realize are actually not that important? Like, do I really need so much clothing all this time? Simple things like that. Or do I really want to talk to some people I used to talk to a lot? Now I realize I actually don't miss them. So maybe that means they didn't really, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's not just about returning to what was there before, but having a new thing entirely, like an entire upgrade, an update, and not just about returning, but more on improving, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that. um, it's as if we are, this pandemic caused us to think as well about the essentials, and
Mm.
for us to be more sensitive and discerning about what our choices would be. So for some important things that would really matter for us. And thank you for sharing that perspective to everyone. And before we end, the same thing that I did with the first two. Are you ready for this fast talk?
Let's see.
Let's start. Warm colors, cool colors,
Cool colors.
digital, traditional,
Digital lately.
Facebook or Instagram,
Instagram.
landscape or portrait,
Portrait.
online class, face to face,
Face-to-face class.
book, podcast,
What's the first one?
book,
I'm sorry, what's that?
book or podcast,
Oh, books.
color or texture,
Mm, texture
working with music, working without music,
with music.
coffee or tea,
P.
Pencil, paintbrush.
Paintbrush.
Milk tea, halo-halo.
Oh, halo halo. It's Filipino.
Movie or music.
Music.
Ayan. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights, your message, and the message behind your works that inspired us as well. And we are going to go back to you later for one final question. And once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you soon in the campus.
All right.
All right. Are you still ready for more? Okay, we had our first three set of featured artists, and we are still going to give you more. So let's have this arts congress is not just only limited to the different parts of the country. We have also reached some parts of the globe, particularly Mexico. And with that, we are going to ask our next featured artists to tell us more something about the masterpieces that they did. Let's have Heidi Judith Portillo. Hello. Hello, Miss Heidi. I can't hear. I can't hear response from you. I think your mic is muted. Let's just wait for it. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. What
Hello.
do you want to be called? How do you want to be called? Is it okay for us to call you Judith? Yan. Hey Judith, how are you? I think you're muted again. Let's just wait for it. Ayan.
Hi, I'm sorry.
It's okay. How are you?
I'm fine.
Let us greet you good morning and mabuhay from the Philippines. I assume that you are still there in Mexico. And thank you for sending your masterpieces. I believe these are photographs, right?
Yeah.
And once again, thank you very much. So let me start you by asking this question. Let me start by asking you this question. Can you tell us the meaning of your work, this wonderful photograph that you have submitted?
Okay. Sorry for my pronunciation and my English. I
It's
hope
okay.
you start me. Okay. Bueno. Hello, my name is Judith. I am from Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, Mexico. I am a second semester architecture student at La Salle Noroeste University. My work is a photograph. My intention is to convey a message of empathy, express the human fragility found in the workers sector of the field that are exploited in the locality Cajeme, Sonora, Mexico. The pandemic has allowed me to give myself time to focus on myself and think about what I like. This awakened my artistic side to which I had not spent so much time. It also helped that I interned at the visual arts artist course in my university. What inspired me to do my work was my locality. The lives of the people who work day by day to be able to live and I help their families, especially in times of pandemic. That work was uh, decreasing and their income was less and less. My work is focused on the hands because it is where all the work he has done during his life is reflecting.
Thank you, Judith, for that. May I just ask, who is the subject or who is the person in that photograph?
It's a people in my community,
Ah, I see. So
in
it's
my
nice, no?
department. Yeah.
How long have you been doing photography? Since when did you start photography?
Um, a little while ago.
Pardon? When did you start taking photographs?
A little while ago.
I think I'm not clear on your end, but thank you very much for sharing this. Um,
Yeah.
what? Anything more to add?
No.
Okay. So we'll see you later. But before we end this part of the session, let me just have a quick, we call it here fast talk, wherein you will be given a series of options and then you will just choose one for each pair. Are you ready for this?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's begin. Painting or photography?
Photography.
Dog or cat?
Cat.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Inside your room or outside world?
Outside.
Picasso or Van Gogh?
Bangle.
Music or movie?
Movie.
Zoom in, zoom out.
Zoom out.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Headset, loudspeaker.
Tech speaker.
Modern buildings, heritage sites.
Monitor.
Modern buildings or heritage sites?
First.
The first one, modern buildings. Thank you once again for sharing your work to us, and for our audience to see more of her photographs. You can visit our the link that we are going to send you later to for the public exhibition. So greetings once again from the Philippines, and we are very grateful to have you here, Judith. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So I hope for our audience that you are still doing great and you are enjoying what you are hearing from our featured artists. We still have two more to go. So I'm not going to make it too long. Let's proceed to the next one. And just like what I have mentioned, we have reached another side of the globe, particularly our friends from Mexico, our Cola Salians from Mexico. Let's have Ismael Eduardo Ruiz Sanchez for this work, Fragilidad Humana.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Ismael. How do you want me to call you?
Ismael, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. How are you?
Oh, I'm really fine. Thanks.
It's nice to know. So, actually, I'm fascinated by the idea that we have Mexican friends here in this Arts Congress. And I'm very, kasi knowing that the Philippines and Mexico almost had the same culture because of our historical background as well, right? And
Right.
as an artist, I'm also amazed by the subject that you have presented in your work. So tell us more about your artwork.
Well, my artwork, well, it came to life when our teacher in a group of art from school talk about how humans we depend from each other. So we make communities and people, but inside of these communities, there's some people who are frail, who need help more than others, and we can say that these people uh, tend to be the elderly, the children, the drug addicts, the homeless. You get the idea. So we read about some biblical texts, about the Pope Francisco, and then I came this to this uh, um, well to this idea when he says we are called to care for our town. And so I say, well, it can be said that they are in our hands, and that's when I say, well, I can draw something about it. And so that's when I start to create this piece of work.
Thank you. Actually, your work is very meaningful and it is also powerful. No? So, can you tell us about the medium or the tool that you have used in coming up with this work? And why did you choose
Well,
that?
I started using just a pencil, and I just start the sketch on a pencil and the black and say in the white paper, and then I just start to create the hands. The hands were the most difficult part, and then the people inside of it. And then I say I can add something about it, and I use charcoal to the background to make it black and give us that aspect, like it's not entirely black, but it's almost black. And I really like the final product.
Exactly. So, you are well versed when it comes to the use of dry media. One last question
Mhm.
before we proceed to the fast talk. Um,
Right.
aside from using those medium that you have said earlier, charcoal pencil and graphite pencil, what else do you use in creating works?
Well, sometimes I use colors to add to the pencils, but I mostly use pencils. I use it since I was a child. I started just drawing with pencils, and I like the effect that it gives you. So when I start to grow up, I mostly stick with it, but sometimes I add color to my artworks. But in this time, I say, you know what? I'm gonna use charcoal. This is the first time I'm gonna use it on an artwork like this, and I really like the results. It was something challenging for me because I never usually go to a path where I don't usually go when it comes to painting, but this time it really helps, and I think it was really the best thing I can do for this painting, for this work.
Okay, thank you very much, Ismael, and I hope that you're doing great there, and still continue working with such masterpieces for others to see. No, I believe that one of the best legacies of Mexicans to the world is your mural paintings. No, and I
Yeah,
believe that your artwork is also worthy to be seen by a lot of people, by a huge crowd, and we are going to see that later.
thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you. Before we end, let's just have this fast talk. Okay, ready? All you have to do is
Sure,
choose one among the
sure,
pairs that
sure.
I'm going to mention. Canvas or sketchpad?
Sketchpad,
Pencil, paintbrush.
pencil,
Working with music or working without music?
with music,
Pablo Picasso or Frida Kahlo?
Picasso,
Color or texture?
color. I prefer color,
Nice. Uh, what about wine or coffee?
coffee, coffee,
Digital art or traditional art?
traditional art,
Landscape or portrait?
landscape,
Realism, expressionism?
realism,
Art gallery or musical play?
art gallery.
Thank you very much for answering. I hope I hope and I pray that this pandemic would would soon end, so that you can also visit us here in the Philippines.
Yeah, someday I will.
Thank you and mabuhay. Ayan. So,
Thanks.
um, ayan. Thank you very much for the first set of featured artists. And now we are down to the last one. Okay, we have here Miss Elenita Garcia. Miss Lenny.
Hi.
Hello, Miss Lenny. Kumusta
Hello.
po kayo?
Well enough. Thanks. Good afternoon.
That's good to know. It's already 12, no? And I believe that we really reserved the work of yours on the last part, because this one is also interesting and this is new actually, no, because of the medium that you have used. So
Oh,
can you please tell us something about the meaning, no, about the message of your work, ma'am?
okay. I subscribe to the expressivist theory of art. Not the movement, not expressionism, but the expressivist theory of art. So, um, I'd hesitate to talk about a certain message. You know, for this particular work, um I wanted it more to capture an emotion, to be expressive of an emotion, not necessarily an expression of my emotion, but to be expressive of an emotion that is more or less universal. And so I wouldn't want to like limit the message or the meaning that a spectator could get from it. But if you want to know the history of this particular work, you know, I did not. If you could see the date, you'd realize that I did not do this during the pandemic, but pre-pandemic. Um, Maybe a kind of a prophecy because I was going through another drastic change. Back in 2019, I just came from a sabbatical leave. And when I came back, we were kind of forced to do blended learning, um, which I really did not like. I still do not like, but it's something that I have to deal with. And so the two artworks that were included in the exhibit, by the way, kind of go together. And here I just tried to like I wanted to put on canvas something of the frustration that I was feeling at the time that we were virtually bound, because as an educator, I need to see physical bodies. I need to see physical, you know, actual facial expressions, which the video camera does not really capture, especially when people, you know, turn off their cameras. I also turn off my camera most of the time, so I do not. I'm not very satisfied with with that kind of virtual connection. So it's kind of a statement that you know we're being limited by this, but you know we have to go on with it because otherwise we won't be able to continue with what we're doing. So yeah.
Thank you, Miss, for that. No, I'm actually interested by the style that you did, and that leads me to my next question. So, why did you choose this kind of style or these medium, no, in coming up with such works as this? Because I've also
Okay.
seen some of your works in the submitted works of yours. It's really nice. They are really nice.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Yeah, mixed media. I feel mixed media is very freeing because you can, first of all, I have tons and tons of art supplies. So I get the excuse to use all of them in one go. I'm also a recyclist, so I have lots of those findings and scraps, you know, that are just laying around. I'm also a crafter, so like I work with clay and paper, and you know, I'm very sentimental. So there are things that you know I really cannot throw away, even if I don't get to use them. Like if you notice, the camera pieces were actually gift. Those supposed to be necklaces that I would not wear on a regular basis. So I decided to put them here. The clay pieces are things that I have also made. And so mixed media is very freeing. It's very, it perpetuates, you know, curiosity because you're always experimenting. You know, what if you put together this particular medium and this particular medium? What kind of result are you going to get? Um, Plus, you're not limited by anything. You could actually create something with anything. It doesn't have to be a particular art supply. You could create anything. You could create art even without paint, for instance. So I enjoy doing mixed media, but these are for works that I sort of think in my mind maybe I could show to other people. But for my personal art ritual, I am more comfortable with watercolors. But here you have findings, you have ropes, you have things that, from trash to treasure, so to speak. So I do enjoy doing mixed media.
Thank you, Miss Lenny. Actually, from what you have said, I realized that what you are doing is a culmination of being so craftsy, being artistic, and being an environmental advocate.
Thank you. Thank you for
And
knowing
it's
that.
really nice. No, it's
Yeah.
really nice. And actually, I'm fascinated by the elements that you have added in your work, and it's really thought provoking because because the colors are also speaking for itself, and then the elements that you have added is also speaking for itself. So, for my final question, before we proceed to the exciting fast talk round, um, what ca- uh, what experience what what particular experience did you had last recently that compels you to or compelled you to reflect and realize on some sort of things that can give us also can also inspire us, particularly our audience?
You mean compelled me to like do art?
Yes, in a way. And
Okay. Yeah, well, art has always been my lifeline, so it's part and parcel of my daily routine. Well, ideally, right? Because lately I haven't been able to engage in it as much as I can, and that's because of the limitations of working from home. So the thing that I had to really deal with, and I continue to deal with difficulty during the pandemic, is that there's no partition between work and home. Home is where I rejuvenate, where I do my art, where I relax. I mean, I still do a lot of work, but at least you know that you are free to do to do play, so to speak, with push paint on paper and all that, or do paper crafts, or even dance, because I go crazy when I cannot engage in art, whether paper crafting, painting, or dancing. But now that you've blurred that distinction between work and home, it's become very, very difficult because I'm practically online 24/7, responding to emails like in the wee hours of the morning whenever they come, and so on. So it's very important for me to be able to sit down and calm my mind, because when my mind gets really chaotic, that's when I need to focus on something else, focus on something that will give me joy, and that's creating. And so it's meditative for me. It's some kind of a spiritual oblivion. For a moment, you kind of leave the world and get to sort things out so that I can deal with the many, many things, the million things that I have to deal with every day, and keep my sanity. So I think in that particular sense, Nietzsche was very much correct in saying that art is some kind of a savior. Art provides the filter through which we can look at the world, which he says is really terrible. It's terrifying, and so it allows us to go on because we're not dealing with it directly. We're dealing with it through a filter of art, especially if you're creating that art. To be able to create something is a kind of a resistance. You resist, or you ward off anxiety, you resist the destruction that's going on in the world, in the environment, and you're creating. So you kind of balance it out, you fight it off by creating something. Doesn't have to be beautiful. Hopefully, it's beautiful. But by creating something new, then you kind of ward off total dissolution and total destruction of the world. So that's what compels me to do art, especially now.
Thank you very much, Miss Lenny. I totally agree with what you have mentioned, with what you have said. And sadly, we are on the last part of this sharing. No, so let's do this fast talk. Are you ready?
As long as you allow neither and both.
It's okay.
Okay.
That
Go
would
ahead.
be all right. Let's begin. Color or texture?
Texture.
New normal, old normal.
No normal. Nothing is normal.
Working with music or without music?
Depends on what I'm doing.
Christmas or Valentine's?
Oh, neither.
Facebook or Instagram?
I have none. So neither.
Movie or concert?
Oh, concert.
Dog or cat?
Both.
Realism, abstract.
Abstract.
Airplane or boat?
Both.
Landscape or portrait?
Landscape.
Digital, traditional.
Oh, traditional. Definitely.
And this one is more personal. Ministop or 7-Eleven?
Oh gosh, neither.
Anyway, thank you so much for sharing your insights and
It's
perspective,
such
Miss
an honor
Lenny.
to be
We
here.
also learned a lot from the things that you told us, and sadly, we are almost near the end of our of this part of the program. So before we proceed to the conclusion, let me just ask the artist a while ago about your compelling or your final message that would tell us more about your perspective about art and this pandemic. So let's begin with Mariel. One final message that you can say or deliver to our audience. Mariel.
I just want to say that people in the audience should try to, in one way or another, try to find a creative outlet for them to kind of explore themselves, especially during this hard pandemic, so that at least they can find some sort of solace and comfort through expressing themselves in their works. That's all.
I agree. I agree with you when you said that because ideas cannot be kept and something as must be done out of it. Thank you, Mariel. And once again, congratulations. Now let's have Miss G, Miss Jeremy Molino, ma'am.
Hello once again.
Hello, Miss. Once again.
Yeah, just like me, I'm still nervous. Anyway, remember Pablo Picasso once said, "Every child is an artist." No, the problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. I think we should always be creative in what we are doing. Just free to express yourselves, and n- there's no standard, no, when it comes to arts. No, there's no standard, there's no measurement. Just express, no, just like what Miss Lenny said a while ago. uh, Look onto your surrounding, whatever materials you can use there. I think creativity is very huge, and we can use that as a space to express ourselves, and at the same time to find solace, and to find our sanity, because this human body is very important in whatever we are doing every day. So just keep what you are doing. Everything is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss G. When you mentioned that it can, keep us, it can keep our sanity and it can really stir our soul and senses. That's one of the most wonderful things that I have learned in the past, past months. Thank you very much for sharing that to us. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
See you soon, po. Thank you, Miss. Now the let's proceed with Sir Ron, sir.
Hello. Yes. Yeah, I think art is not only like a personal, no matter how we think it's personal, it is reflective of our society and history and when and where we are. So it's very important to do it responsibly, that we are telling people from the future what it's like to be here now, the way Amor Solo tells us what it was like during his time, and even the older painters during their time, and that it's beautiful and fun, but like all skills and powers, it has to be, taken with responsibility and a lot of thinking. And right now, I think we get to realize more than ever how creativity is an important integral part of life. The way we watch Netflix when we want to relax, or the way we listen to music, like we can survive without. I feel like we can survive without banks. That's a controversial opinion, and we can survive without riding an airplane, but we cannot. We have been making art since we don't have language yet, so it's like it's super important, but at the same time, it's there's so many more things to life, and we have to pursue whatever it makes us feel like our time here is has value. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Sir Ron. And before we end this part, let me just tell you that someone from the audience have asked this question to you. It says here that Mr. Del Rosario, I love your work. Where can I find your works on social media?
Oh, I feel like that's just one of my friends or someone. Anyway, thank you for saying that. I have a page called Electromilk. That's one word, like on Facebook. But yeah, Electromilk. It's yeah, that's my page.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
go ahead. Sure.
Thank you for that information. And once again, congratulations. Um, Next, we let's go back to our friend from Mexico, Judith. Are you still there? Hello, Judith. Okay, I think she's okay. Sige. Let's just have Sir Ismael Sanchez.
Hi again.
Hello.
What was that question
Uh,
again?
uh, one last message to encourage the audience to continue pursuing art and in these times of pandemic.
I would just say try it, really try it, because people usually say, "Oh, I wish I could draw like you. I wish I could paint like you." No, you don't have to paint like someone. You have to paint like yourself, like you want to paint, like you want to draw, and you don't need something really, really expensive. Also, you can even make art with a napkin and just a pencil. You don't need special tools. You don't need anything. I use all of my artworks with pencil almost. So don't worry about expensive stuff. Don't worry about making something big. Something meaningful to you, it's better than nothing. Trust me, and you can start with it, and you can go and go on and go on. Also, it really, really helps you to stay calm in these times. So I really, really recommend it.
Thank you, Ismail, for that. I have to. There's a particular message here from the audience. It says here that,
Uh-huh.
and I think I really have to commend you for this because someone from
Uh-huh.
the audience mentioned that your voice is really nice,
Oh, thanks.
and it's really
Really, really.
actually nice. No?
Thanks.
So thank you very much, and once again, congratulations for sharing and being part of this Arts Congress. Okay,
Thank you so much, everyone.
thank you. Finally, I think Judith is having a problem with her connection or so. But let's have Miss Lenny once again. Miss Lenny, there's also a question here for you. Before we ask for your what do you call this message, final message for everyone to be inspired. There's a question here that says, um, what are some tips that you can give to those who want to try out mixed media?
Oh, just try it. Just go ahead and do it. There's no proper way to start. So just pick up whatever material you have, use what you have, and just slap it onto a canvas or a sketch pad or any kind of paper. Just the thing to do is to just do it, and that's what's so great about mixed media. But if you could contact me, I can share more tips if you like. So just Go ahead and do it. Just do it.
Thank you, Miss. And they also said that they love your works as well.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I I learned a lot as well from your insights. So thank you very much, and once again, congratulations, Miss.
Thank you.
Okay, we are now down to the concluding part of this particular part of the Arts Congress. So thank you very much to those who have been here and those who sent their questions in Slido. Okay. A true artist is not one who is inspired, but one who inspires others. To our six featured artists, thank you for accommodating those questions and for sharing with us your time today. Sharing the stories behind your masterpieces have greatly inspired us as well. Marami pong salamat. To see more of their works and their other fascinating artworks of various media from other to see more of their works and the other fascinating artworks of various media from other prolific artists, we are going to feature them later in our virtual exhibition that will commence at 2:30 p.m. today. So here's a quick video tutorial on how you can enjoy your virtual visit to our collection.
Greeting club members, I just want to do a short tutorial on how to use the exhibit website. Once you get to the main page, you click enter. Obviously, this leads you into, you can take a tour. The images are down here on thumbnails. If you use the arrow key, you can scroll to find that image you like. If you want to go directly to any image, you can just double click on it and that'll bring you right to that image. Now you can see there's some things in the way. This, if you just click off of it, that will remove that. This catalog down here, if you go over here and click off that, that gets rid of that for you. A good really thing to do in the very beginning is go up here into this menu, click on that, and down here on how to move. This is really a good way to move and navigate up, down, is your W and Z key, sideways is A and S key, out, use your arrows. So let's click off of that. I want to back up a little bit, so I'm going to use my down arrow. That will back off of that. You can see it has the information here for Judy. That information is also shown up here. If you click on this, that will open the box. It shows her thumbnail, her name, the title, all the other instances about her image. Clicking on that arrow again, you get rid of it. So again, the navigation to go out, I use the down arrow. That'll show me more of the gallery. I can navigate also by using my mouse, by clicking and dragging. Left will take you left. Now I'm really close to this image, so if I want to back up, I'm going to use the down arrow key to back up. And again, it's a quick reference. If I want to know the catalog again, I just click down here, open that up, and then I can double click on any image and that'll take me right to it. Get rid of the catalog by clicking down here. Getting rid of all this, I can click on that. That kind of opens up the screen a little bit better. If I want to go right, that would be the S key. Left is the A key. Up is W, and down is X. Come on, X. Sorry, Z. my bad. Anyway, that gives you a quick synopsis. Hopefully that will be helpful and we'll be able to navigate this.
That's the short video tutorial on how you can access the presentation or the exhibit. And just one point of clarification, it's already the link is already sent to everyone through a help desk announcement. So I also want to thank the featured artists once again. And if you can also share some of your social media accounts or platforms so that we can also see some of your works, then we would highly appreciate that as well. Okay, so once again, thank you everyone for making this time today, or for making time today, and we are looking forward to your participation in all of the events in this year's Arts Congress. Once again, this is FJ Lacson of DLSU Senior High School Arts and Design Track Unit, your host for today. So before we part, let's just have a picture taking. Sorry. Yeah, so that's it. And once again, mabuhay ang sining, mabuhay tayong lahat, Animo Lasal.